Hello, I'm Dick.
And I'm Eric, and we're the Annuity guys.
Eric, we talk to, literally hundreds of folks on a monthly basis and a lot, over the course of a year. But we don't talk to 50,000 people like we are dealing with in this report.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Wade Pfau and, what is it,
Mike Finke, yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting when we talk about the cost of retirement and what it means to fund your basically your last 30 years or 40 years of life, in the sense of what it's going to take to make sure you don't run out of money. Well, it's nice when you have academic research sometimes that looks at different scenarios.
Yes.
And I have to say, I'm a big fan of Wade Pfau, the retirement researcher he called himself.
Yes.
And what he did is he went in there and kind of broke down some different scenarios of people that were 45 years, couples that were 45 and bought an annuity deferred it for 20 years. Couples that were 55 bought annuities and deferred them for 10 years, as well as couples that were 62 and deferred for 3 years. And he ran, I think, they ran 50,000 simulations of each to try to determine, would it be better off to have owned the annuity or have been on the market or a combination thereof.
Well, and this is based on folks' ages, like you just explained. All different scenarios of their life expectancies.
Right.
And all different comparisons of dates of time running these Monte Carlo simulations that would have compared what would have happened to these folks in stocks and bonds as compared to what would have happened if they had a mix in annuities. Right. And in every case, it came out to reduce the cost of retirement, especially where people weren't going to be aggressive in the market. And what are we told about retirement?
Well, I always laugh. What's the rule?
Don't be aggressive.
Once you get to retirement, reduce your stock, your equity, to take some of that volatility out. And I think what they found, not to kind of jump ahead here, but really, if you're going to be totally all in the market and you get good sequence of returns, yes, that would have been a better selection.
Let's get out our crystal ball, Eric.
However, if you were aggressive and had poor sequence of returns, it was a much worse
You're
scenario.
wiped out. And that's what we can't afford. And that's why, folks, you're counseled and advised to, have maybe, as you're entering retirement, a 50-50 stock bond mix or a 60-40. And, the older you get, the less in the market. And Wade Pfau is kind of saying, hey, it's kind of the opposite of that. If things work out well, and if you want to be less risk averse, annuities can save you money.
Yeah, and we always go back to the sequence of returns aspect. If you think about it, if you can take all the red numbers from your fixed income portion, take them all out. Your annuities guarantee the income side. They guarantee that you're not going to go backwards in those first key years in retirement. That's so impactful.
Well, and what we talk about frequently, folks, is putting the money that you would typically have in bonds in your portfolio in annuities. But the good news is, you can put less money in annuities than you would have in bonds, and you have covered additional risk. And the key is just covering that foundation of the portfolio. Right. Let's talk about the annuities that he's recommending and all of the options that are really available to folks today, Eric.
Well, I was going to say, they kind of focused on what they call deferred income annuities, which falls into a big bucket, really.
Yes.
You've got the fixed indexed annuities. You have what are truly a deferred immediate annuity. Really, it's the deferred. They call them QLACs now, and they have all sorts of fancy acronyms. And then, of course, there's the hybrid style annuity, which the big difference there is control.
And I think that what they're really alluding to in the deferred income annuity here in the study is something that's more akin to an immediate annuity that the folks would annuitize. But then they also tied into Northwestern Mutual, which actually sponsored this study. And they have a particular annuity called a portfolio deferred income annuity. So, and the idea of that is that it kind of has that variable component so that, it can go up and down with the market, up until that point, and maybe be a little bit inflation head. But that's what a hybrid annuity can do. So the key with a lot of folks is they kind of want that cake and eat it too. They worked hard for that money, and they don't want to give up the control of the money. And that's where The hybrid annuity gives you all of those advantages. The hybrid fixed indexed annuity gives you all of those advantages of having some inflation hedging, seeing that income grow with guaranteed growth, and then being able to turn on that lifetime income.
Yeah, the guarantees is what it's all about. I mean, and ultimately what we like about a hybrid style is, I like to call it the Ronco retirement plan, where you can put some dollars in, especially that if you look at the 45 and the 55-year-old groups, knowing you put those dollars in, you can set it, forget it for 10, 20 years, turn it on, and know exactly what you'll have from an income standpoint.
So whatever the market does is beside the point, because it's guarantees.
Right.
And
the contractual guarantees are by far the key component, but also knowing that you have flexibility, that if something changes significantly in the economy, you have the flexibility to get in there and get
your money.
Dollars.
It's your money. You can still get back to it.
Yeah, having you have the income guarantees, and then yet if you need the lump sum, you need access to the dollars, you haven't given up control. You haven't just seceded kind of the dollars to the insurance company. So as far as a more powerful aspect to retirees, especially during that time frame, it really does come into play. Now, the 62 to 63 people, yeah, it still has those same benefits, but you don't have nearly the benefit of the roll-up. So there you're talking about having the flexibility to make a change typically, even after you've started taking withdrawals, having a chance to keep those, a lot of times with the indexing component, get some additional growth as you're going through retirement, so you're not depleting all the assets.
Well, and at the younger ages, I mean, we all know that the time value of money. When you have time on your side and you have guarantees involved, it can really play, in a greater way in your favor. But Eric, I would have to just say in summary that folks really need, in today's day and age, this changed environment that we have. We have a book that says The New Retirement, a paradigm shift. It is a paradigm shift, and folks can actually now, know factually that they can save money by using annuities in their retirement.
Yeah, I think the last bullet point on their executive summary is the perfect kind of summation here. Our findings suggest that short deferred income annuities can reduce the cost of funding retirement, provide longevity protection, and provide important behavioral benefits to clients concerned about near retirement market performance.